Since its inception in 2022, Tapper Scrap has been expanding farther and farther from its home base in Southeast Texas, thrilling an ever-growing fan base and earning a spot near the top of the amateur MMA landscape. But on November 1st, the premier amateur MMA organization returns to Victoria, Texas to commemorate its 10th event, a milestone that few, including Tapper Scrap President Peter Morales, ever imagined.
I haven't been in Victoria in over a year. Last time I was here was Tapper Scrap 6. And I started venturing out, testing the market, and I think it was only right to come back home and do Tapper Scrap 10, because when we initially started, I mean, we're supposed to be one and done, maybe two and out. But I mean, dug deep, and now we're here, and it's only right to bring Tapper Scrap 10 and highlight not just the out-of-towners, but the local talent that I have here as well too.
True to its reputation for excellence, Tapper Scrap 10 will feature a pair of undefeated champions looking to cement their spot at the top of their respective divisions. In the co-main event, flyweight champion Michael Bannick looks to defend the title against the always dangerous Drew Lopez. And in the main event, Victoria's own Greg Johnson challenges for the 145-pound title against the only man to ever defeat him, featherweight champion Johnny Gonzalez. Setting the stage for it all, an all-star undercard stacked with the most exciting fighters to have ever competed under the banner. But before the promotion touches down on the Victoria Community Center, take a closer look at the story behind the matchup headlining Tapper Scrap's biggest event yet. This is Tapper Scrap 10, Prologue. Today, dynamic striker Johnny Gonzalez sits atop the Tapper Scrap featherweight division. But in April of 2023, it was the Texas Clash featherweight title in his sights. For challenger Greg Johnson, the fight played out as a tale of two halves.
Yeah, so last year when I fought Johnny, started out good. Started out kind of how we were expecting things to go. He was landing a couple shots and I was landing some as well. In the first round, it was pretty close. In the second round, I would say it could have gone either way, but it looked like he was a little bit more active in that second round, but again, anybody could have had it. In the third round, I think I got a little too close to him. He ended up getting a body lock, getting me taken down, and spent the rest of the round on top. And I think that was the turning point for him, and that's where he realized that that was probably his easiest path to victory. And so in the fourth and fifth round, he kind of stayed with that same game plan.
Known for his flashy striking arsenal, Gonzalez relished the opportunity to put his well-rounded game on display, scoring multiple takedowns and dominant ground strikes as the fight progressed.
I feel like I'm very well-rounded in that I can keep it on the feet if we want to keep standing. I feel very comfortable there, but a lot of people don't know my ground game as well. And so once I felt him, once I took him down one time, and then I just felt dominant there. I felt I was dominating a lot of the grappling exchanges on top. And then he got up, but I was still able to land a lot of volume. And then I just wanted to keep going back to where I felt like he wasn't as strong yet. So when we got into those grappling exchanges, finished takedowns, felt dominant on top. And then, yeah, I was like, hey, let's take it back here again. And then I think that's where I got the finish, too.
Following the victory over Johnson, Johnny Gonzalez would look to claim yet another title, this time the vacant Tapper Scrap Featherweight Championship. And watching cage side as always, head coach Betsabe Esparza.
So Johnny fought Emmanuel in January of this year, and it was a good match. I think the guy put up a tough fight, but Johnny definitely highlighted his skill set, showed that he's got that gas tank, and was picking his shots with him, and really it was a highlight reel worthy fight for sure.
Appreciate Johnny. Let's counter on that. Real block to the turn.
As Johnny Gonzalez solidified his place at the top of the Tapper Scrap Featherweight division, Greg Johnson was busy rebuilding a win streak of his own outside the organization. And after a flawless performance against Chris Baker in Rise Fighting Championship, the Victoria local returned to Tapper Scrap in search of even greater challenges.
One big thing is I wanted different challenges, and one of the newest challenges that I wanted is I told Brandon I wanted a wrestler in my last fight, and that's what we got. We got a very high level wrestler in Mo De Los Santos. I felt that if anybody had the best style to potentially give me a tough fight, it would be that type of fighter, that wrestler type of fighter. And I went in there in the first 2 rounds. I was able to keep my distance and prevent him from landing those takedowns and build a lead enough that even though he did get me down in the 3rd round, I was still able to have that lead built up enough and still get back to my feet towards the end of that 3rd round and show I still had the gas tank to keep going.
After the performance on Tapper Scrap 9, it was a no-brainer to give Greg the title opportunity.
In the world of combat sports, few champions look forward to a rematch following a decisive title victory. But for Tapper Scrap Featherweight champ Johnny Gonzalez, there remains more than enough intrigue in a second showdown with Greg Johnson.
I started looking at it like that, and I was like, oh, okay, we get to run it back. 2, I got the best of him the last time, and so now it's exciting because then it's a chip on their shoulder too to want to get it back. And I could respect any fighter to want to get that loss back. So that kind of like got me excited. It's like, oh, now he's coming, you know? And guess what? Here I am, let's do it. Just be careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for.
At Tapper Scrap 10, 2 of the best featherweights in the state will face off for a second time. In one corner, the undefeated champion with a flair for dazzling striking displays and dominant finishes. And standing across from him, a surging challenger looking to continue the streak of impressive performances and become the new Tapper Scrap Featherweight champion.
I think the second matchup is going to produce some fireworks, but at the end of the night, the ultimate goal is to get my hand raised, and if I had to pick a method of victory, I would say getting it with a knockout or a submission, rear naked choke, or just this right hand landing on Johnny Gonzalez.
It all goes down November 1st at Tapper Scrap 10.